Hey guys, it's Kristen and welcome or welcome back. This is everything I read in March. So I actually ended up reading more than I thought I did in March. I got a little bit over my average of 5 to 6 books a month. And I think I really enjoyed everything I read. We'll see as I go down this list. The first thing that I read in March was The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. I think this is the second book in what is called the Wedding Date universe or series or whatever. And this follows Nikki, who is proposed to rather publicly at a baseball game. And she's like, no. And Carlos and his sister come to her rescue, and they just kind of develop a friendship from there that evolves into an othership that evolves into, love or whatever. This is a secret love, casual, turns into love story. It was very formulaic. I felt it. I read I don't remember the other name of the wedding party. It was The Wedding Party. It's very formulaic. It follows kind of the same setup as The Wedding Party. I think that it also, based on a review that I read, follows the same formula for the first book in the series, which I guess is called The Wedding Date. Yeah, it was fine. It was a good read. It passed my time. I'm not mad at it. The next book I read was Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This was the third book in the Grisha trilogy. I am so happy to finally be done with this, but also really mad at how it ended. There was so much potential. There was so much potential to have it be an actual, good experience. And I guess it just wasn't for me. I'm happy that I read it and experienced that intro into the Grishaverse. But yeah, it was all right. Mal still sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Next, I read The Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This is the first book in the Shroud of Prophecy series. And this was the book club pick for shelf space in the month of March. I haven't been super active on my Discords lately, so I'm not really part of the book club conversation. But from what I saw, a lot of people in shelf space did not enjoy Fate of the Fallen. I am an outlier, I guess. I don't know. I thought it was really good. It's like an adventure fantasy, and there is a chosen one and his best friend, and then it turns into this reluctant hero story. There's witches and fairies and gods, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. I actually hope to continue the series soon. Next in March, I read The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, and this is a fact book, as Abby and Gregory would call it. This was written by Rebecca Skloot, and this follows the life of Henrietta and how the medical field just, I can't even, I have no eloquence. I am not a good speaker of things. So basically, Henrietta had cervical cancer, and her cancer cells were taken to a lab and were then used to research and develop a shit ton of other stuff. And her cells are called HeLa cells. They were the basis for a lot of vaccine developments. From what I can remember, the polio vaccine was built off the back of HeLa cells. I really enjoyed this whole story. Just the journey that she went through in the medical world, and the journey that her family then went through discovering the HeLa cells. And it's interesting. And one of my biggest mind-blowing moments was how this case affected what we think of as informed consent in the medical world. There was no informed consent back when this happened. And now, you know, we have those long contracts that nobody fucking reads. Yeah, it made me think about my own experiences in the medical world, because I have had doctors who were just kind of passive, like, we're doing this, no explanation. And conversely, I have had one doctor who is so amazing at explaining everything. So yeah, informed consent. I don't know where I was going with that. It's such a good read. It's such a good read. If you like nonfiction, I definitely would suggest picking up The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. It's a good time. Next, I read The Starless C by Erin Morgenstern. This was the book club pick for March for Vish at Books with V, and for Kate at The Literary Apothecary. This was my first Morgenstern, and I am in love. I'm in love with this book, with this story. I am not someone who typically gravitates toward flowery, perfumey, purple prose, but this book was so freaking beautiful. I wanted to start rereading it before I even got to the end, and that's not because I wasn't paying attention. It's because I just wanted to spend more time with it. This follows Zachary, who picks up a book, I think at his school library or somewhere rather, and finds his life or snippets of his life written in this book, and it leads him on this fantastic journey. It's just so good. There was at one point in like the second half of the book where I was just so deeply emotionally affected. Like, I wanted to cry. I was kind of in this, like, I was on my way to this slumpy feeling, but I fucking rallied and pulled myself out of that. But it was just, there was just so much emotion in me from this story, and please read it. That's all I can say. Next, I read One to Watch by Kate Stamen London, and this follows B, who's a plus size blogger, fashion blogger, this, that, the other, and she also covers a popular Bachelor-esque TV show called Main Squeeze. And she goes on a rant one night on the finale or something rather. And then she finds herself in a situation where she is now the main squeeze. She's going to be on TV, and guys are going to compete to be with her because of her internet rant. This was actually really good. I enjoyed it. There was a point in this book where I was just screaming at B because, like, where her thoughts were seemingly kind of leading her. I don't want it to go there. And then I totally called like one of the major plot twists, and it didn't make it any less enjoyable. It was still an enjoyable story. I don't know. It was like, I enjoyed it, but I'm not like over the moon about it. It's good, I guess. Next, I read Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women a Movement Left Behind by Mikki Kendall. This was a read-along in Gregory Lepurcha's Discord. He likes to read one nonfiction book a month with his friends over there. So if you are into nonfiction and want to hang out with us, then do that. This is another one of the buddy reads that I wasn't really into. I wasn't participating. I did read a lot of the comments that people were making. And I kind of started reading it like towards the end of the month. So I just didn't feel like I wanted to like jump in when everyone had already basically finished the book. I really enjoyed the perspective that Kendall provides, and I really appreciated the focus that was put on how all of that affects mental health and societal views on mental health across races, across classes. It was one of the last books that I read in March, so I'm still kind of processing. It takes my little brain at least a few weeks to fully process something that I've read, especially when it is a nonfiction, because there is more to consider. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you are looking to just kind of further your own education in feminism, I would recommend this book. And the last book that I read in March was The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Mistborn Trilogy Era 1, and I fucking love this book. I loved this book. I loved it. And the ending, I was just... What? I'm so excited to get to the next book. I'm so excited for Hero of Ages. Dear Lord, yeah. So that was everything that I read in the month of March. Let me know what you've been reading, or if you think I should check out any nonfiction. I feel like I'm really gravitating toward nonfiction currently. I don't know what that's about, but I'm just gonna go with it. Or you can leave a wine glass in the comments, because I like to know that you've been here. If you would like to see more of me and my bookish nonsense, I would love if you would consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.